Look, and this guy right here, remember that one was like $14 and $17 or something like that? Well, this wreath is only 8. And look, this is just the center part of it, which is the small part, and then you get the big part of it, so you get a garland for less, but people don't know that. And Hobby Lobby obviously doesn't want you to know that. Hello everyone, welcome back to Ramon at Home. I'm so excited you're here today because in today's video we continue our Christmas in July. This is our 3rd week doing daily videos, Monday through Thursday. On Friday is members only video at 2 p.m. Central Standard Time. So if you haven't joined, there's a link down below. And then Saturdays and Sundays is a little short reel. So that way we have content all week long. All of these videos are posted daily at 2 p.m. Central Standard Time. But in today's video, I'm going to share with you a fabulous traditional centerpiece DIY. Yesterday we did a wreath. Today we're doing a centerpiece, and all this week we're doing traditional Christmas to inspire you for your Christmas decorating. Are you guys ready? Well, let's get started. All right, you guys, so for this next Christmas DIY, I'm going to share with you how to create a gorgeous centerpiece that is also going to be budget friendly. And for that, we're going to use some ribbons that we already had laying around, and this beautiful plaid, and then also in this bejeweled and bedazzled ribbon that I'm just so obsessed with. I'm also going to use some affordable ribbon from Hobby Lobby. You guys, this is so pretty. And it was only about $5 because they also have their 50% off. So we're gonna use some of this glitter gold ribbon. I'm going to be using some of the David Christopher berries, some of the David Christopher red picks. I think it's a laurel. And then I'm gonna use my hurricane, and of course I'm going to be using my candle that is remote operated. You guys, if you don't have one of these, you're missing out, because look, you can just turn it on and off. And then I'm gonna use the tray. These are my mechanics. I'm always telling you to get all of your mechanics at the dollar store. So I got 2 blocks of foam and then also a clear tray from the dollar store. So we're gonna be using that. And you guys, I need a garland, but I don't have a garland. So here is a tip, a florist tip. When I worked as a florist and we were doing Christmas, some other times we'd run out of garland. So what you're going to do is you're gonna grab an old wreath, or a new one in this case, but it's a wreath that you're not gonna use anymore. And there is some clips on the back. So you're gonna grab your wire cutters and you're going to clip that metal clip until it falls out. So super easy. All you have to do is find it and clip it like that. And so now what you're going to do is you're gonna be left with this, which it looks like a garland. So now we're gonna look for a spot where we can split that. And look at that. So now we have a garland. Remember, I'm always telling you a wreath is nothing but a garland that is tied together. And so now we're going to be going back to its original form, which is a garland, to put in our centerpiece. So let me clear this real quick and I'll be right back to give you instruction number 1. Keep watching. So the first step is going to go ahead to fluff your garland. And once our garland is fluffed, we're gonna put this to the side because we're gonna move on to our centerpiece base. For that, I selected this clear base from the dollar store, as I told you earlier. And what I'm going to do is I'm gonna grab my hot glue gun, and I'm just gonna go and be very generous with the glue right here in the center. And I just like to hear it pop. Once we've been generous with it, what we're going to do is I'm gonna grab these 2 blocks of foam, and I'm gonna go ahead, put them flat straight, and then I'm going to push down so that glue will get tucked into my packages. And I'm always telling you to leave this foam in the package, because that way when it crumbles, you're not left with a whole mess, but it's all gathered and contained. So once we pushed our garland, our foam, our garland. I'm looking at the garland, so I'm thinking about the garland. Once we press our foam, what we're going to do is we're going to grab our garland and we're going to cover our mechanics by adding this garland around. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna go all the way around like this, and very tightly. So I want to make sure that it's very tight like this. You know what, I'm gonna go one more time right here like that. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm gonna grab 2 of the bristles and just attach it tightly together. And once you've done that, what you want to do is you're going to give it a little light fluff at this point. So you're gonna be left with this, and that's where our hurricane is going to sit with our candle. So the way I like to do this, I like to find the center and then just like to mark it like this, so that way I know where to insert within the foam. So I'm gonna actually move this guy over here so I don't break it. We'll be back to you later, so stay tuned for you. So we're gonna fluff this real quick. Once we have our garland all fluffed out, our first step is going to be to add our ribbons. And so first I'm gonna add this beautiful ribbon that has got like a sheer, almost like a sheer feel to it. And also it has some glitter in it. And I like to start with a dovetail. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pinch right here. And then I'm going to go ahead and put right here. And you guys, I have a video of a gorgeous centerpiece. If you are looking for a centerpiece tutorial with traditional burgundy color, I'm gonna leave it down below because I have one that I did a few years ago. And actually I'm gonna leave all the centerpieces down below so you guys can get to see them, because centerpieces are like one of the most requested things here on the channel. And also at this point, I wanna ask you guys to give the video a thumbs up for Jameson, who is our cameraman. Yay, come here Jameson, say hi. A lot of people are always saying hi to Jameson when they see him in the street. How are you doing?
Doing great.
Doing great. Is there anything you want to say to the public?
Christmas is here.
Christmas is here. All right, so there's Jameson who's helping with the camera today, you guys. Thumbs up for Jameson. I've been trying to talk him into being on the videos more often, but he's a little camera shy. Every time that the camera turns on, Jameson goes stiff as a board. And then he's like, well, I don't know what to say. And as soon as the camera's off, Jameson's back to normal. I don't know what that's about. But so what we're doing is we're gonna go ahead and do one swoop all the way around. And then bring that to the center. We're going to end right here with another one. And this twist improves our probably about 4 to 5 inches. And that's just gonna give us some beautiful ribbon in our centerpiece. I'm gonna cut that right there and put that right there. All right, so I'm gonna fluff this together real quick, get the rest of my materials, and I'll be right back with you to give you the next step. Keep watching. And we're back. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some of the beautiful plaid ribbon. And the reason why is because I want all of my DIYs to have the same ribbons, so that way they look cohesive. And for this particular one, what I'm going to do is I'm gonna do a 2-loop bow, and then I'm gonna actually grab some wires because I was gonna tie it with the bristles that come on your garland, but I'll show you a trick. I'm full of tricks, you guys. What I'm going to do is I'm gonna touch it really tight, and then what I need to do is cut those tails because I don't want them to be too long. So what we're going to do is we're going to dovetail. And remember, every time you're making a wreath, think about this. If I come to your house and your ribbons are not dovetail, I'm gonna ask you for a pair of scissors. I'm gonna start carrying my very own pairs of scissors. And look at that, just by adding this little bow right here, it just adds that color of traditional plaid. So we're gonna do another one. I want it to be really small. Remember, I don't want it to overpower my greenery. So what I'm going to do is basically I'm just doing cute 2 little bow tails. I'm gonna cut this guy right here. I've seen somebody who does the dovetails like this, you guys, and I've tried. They go like this and then they go like this while they're working on their bow. Look, but that is harder than it looks. So I've watched this person for years and I saw him do that. I was like, whoa, that is interesting. So I'm gonna do a triangle. I'm gonna do one right here. I'm gonna do one right here, and I'm gonna go all the way down on my centerpiece. So that's our second ribbon. So now what I'm going to do is I'm gonna add some of this beautiful bejeweled ribbon as well. And what I'm going to do for this, I'm going to cut little tails like this, about 5 inches. I'm gonna pinch right here, and then I'm going to cut. I just want those jewels to be on my centerpiece, and I'm also only going to do 3. So basically we're going to do the same thing. Just grab like this, but you know this doesn't need to be finished. We want it to look finished, so we're going to cut at an angle. And I feel awful because it has so many jewels, but you know what? It's more important that I get the texture right than the ribbon, because I already paid for it, so I can do whatever I want with it. They gave me a lot of texture, a lot of sparkle, and so what I'm going to do next is I'm going to add some of my greeneries. And for that, I have this beautiful stem that I'm just gonna go ahead and cut right here, all of them at once. You guys know that I like to cut all my materials at the same time. That way I don't have to, well, take a lot of time, because my time is money. Isn't that what they say in the industry? Time is gold or something like that. So if, of one stem, you guys, of one little stem like this, I'm making multiples. I'll show you. So there's one, here's another one, and here's another one. So be sure you cut those stems to get the more bang for your buck, like that. So now I did 4 out of this one. Look at me go. Let's start with those. I'm gonna put this one right here. What I'm going to do is now I have to fill in my centerpiece, and so I need to put some texture in it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go right here on the top and see how that starts to add so much texture to your Christmas tree. And I love this greenery. This greenery is from Walmart, and guess what? It makes your centerpiece look so real. And what I do recommend is you always go one. Like if you don't have a lazy Susan, I really recommend to get a lazy Susan, because you can always rotate your centerpiece, so that way it looks like a wreath when you're done with it. And then also, as you guys can see, I'm standing some up and laying some down, because that's also what's gonna give us that balance. Remember, I've been telling you on my videos now that what goes on the left happens on the right, and what goes up must come down. And then also that balance is our best friend. And so if you always just remember, balance is my best friend, it always comes to mind. What happens on the right happens on the left, and what goes up must come down. So I'm gonna put that one right there. So one up, one down. As you guys can see, I put one up. Now I'm going to go ahead and do one down. And at this point, I do like to fluff my ribbons, because you're gonna flatten them out a little bit while you do this step. So I'm gonna add one right here on the top. Okay, you guys, so now the next step is going to be to add some of these beautiful berries. And look how absolutely stunning this look with the ribbon. They have that champagne color. And so basically you do the exact same thing. One up, one down, spin about 30 degrees. Would you say that's 30 degrees what I just did, Jamison? 18 degrees. Jamison, our mathematician, just told me that I'm spinning it 18, not 80 degrees, but 18 degrees, 80 degrees, whatever. Just give it a little bit of a spin, and you're gonna find out how, and look how beautiful that looks. It's just adding so much texture to my centerpiece. I'm gonna add one right here. And because I need one right here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove this one from here, and I'm gonna bring her over here. Remember, we have to have all the materials all the way around, but they don't have to really be exactly placed, because we have still one more to add. And look at this stem, you guys. You can basically just pull on it, and it falls apart to where the point where you need it. So we're gonna add all of this. That's what I love about this particular stem. I'm gonna add one right here. So I'm gonna cut a little bit. And always have your tools at the ready, because that way it's gonna save you a lot of time. So I'm gonna add one going up. I'm gonna add one going down. I'm gonna spin a little bit. Then I'm gonna repeat right here. I'm gonna add one up here. And then I'm gonna spin a little bit. And then I'm gonna add my one going down. I've met so many of you who told me you do centerpieces to sell, and how appreciative you are of all the steps we've taught you here. And nothing makes me happier to know that somebody out there is making a living out of the things that we share with you here on the channel, you guys. That really makes me happy. Okay, so I'm back, and now what I'm going to add to this beautiful centerpiece is going to be some of these gorgeous poinsettias. So basically I'm just gonna give it a curvature like this, and I'm going to add one right here. And I'm only going to use 2. So I'm gonna add one right here, and then immediately on the other side, like I've always told you, what happens on the left happens on the right. What we're going to do is we're going to add the other one right about here, making sure that that goes into your foam so that it can be very well balanced. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my candle, and I'm gonna set that on the center of my centerpiece, and then I'm going to grab my hurricane. And this hurricane is from Michael's. You guys can find the hurricane at Michael's. I know that's one of the questions that I get all the time. So you can get one of Michael's, and I'm going to just set my centerpiece like that. I'm going to grab my little remote that I don't know where I put it, right here. And I'm gonna turn my candle on. All right, so I wanna give you a quick close-up of this absolutely stunning, traditional, on a budget centerpiece. You guys, this diamond ribbon, it's so beautiful. It just sparkles so gorgeous. And look at the beautiful poinsettias. Can you believe they're under $3? You can put as many or as little ones. I only put 2 on this one because I wanted to keep it on a total budget, but you could add a few more if you wanted to. And just this beautiful red with the plaid and this gorgeous ribbon also. It creates a beautiful centerpiece for your Christmas table, and I really hope that you will give it a try. Alright you guys, well that's all I have for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Remember, right now we're posting videos Monday through Thursday. Fridays is members only, and then Saturday and Sunday it's a short reel at 2 p.m. Central Standard Time to inspire you to create beauty this holiday season. I cannot wait to read your comments, so leave a comment down below. Let me know how much you are enjoying this holiday season, Christmas in July. Thank you guys so much for watching. Consider subscribing. As always, you can watch more videos right now. Until next time, bye.